Welcome back. I'm Helen.
I'm James.
And we are global nomads. And in 2024, we sold everything we owned to retire early and travel the world full time. If you were watching last week, you'll have seen that we were on the Norwegian Dawn and we finished our 17-day cruise and ended in Port Louis in Mauritius.
We arranged with the hotel that we were staying at for a driver to pick us up, and apparently the 92,000 ton ship was not a bit of a giveaway because he went to the wrong port. So we eventually managed to get in a very nice car and we were on our way to our hotel, which was the Lux Grand Baie.
Grand Baie is located in the north of the island and took us about 40 minutes to drive there from Port Louis from the port.
So here we are in Mauritius, and welcome to the Lux Grand Baie Resort, which is a Mr. and Mrs. Smith resort and therefore is a Hyatt property, and guess what? We booked it on points. Here you go and see what you think. So welcome, we've just got off the ship. We are now here at the Lux Grand Baie in Mauritius. And this is our welcome drink, which is ginger, mint tea and lychee. So here's to 8 days in Mauritius.
Hello and welcome to the Lux Grand Baie here in Mauritius. Coming in and I'm going to show you around in our room, give you a quick room tour. I hope you can hear me over the waterfall out there. So we are at the Lux Grand Baie in Mauritius in room 1202. This is a junior suite, which is the lowest category of room that they do. Although it won't look like it, but it's pretty nice. But this is the kind of starting room. So as you come in, we've got this kind of foyer area, and we've got three closets here. We've got all our stuff in there, but they have lights in, which is nice. And drawers, all sorts of shelving. This one actually has got a really deep, because we've got the big suitcase in the bottom there, a really deep space on the bottom. And then we do need to keep the room key or credit card or whatever you use to keep the power on in here. We've got an umbrella in the corner as well that they've left. Hopefully we're not going to need that. Things are going to brighten up. There was a Category 2 hurricane came through yesterday, or tropical cyclone. So it's a little bit overcast today. Fortunately, Mauritius didn't have too much damage. Unfortunately, we can't say the same for Reunion Island, which is just a little bit a ways away, sadly. So hopefully we're not going to need the umbrella though. Then we've got this big piece of art. Art's your thing, I'm not sure what that is, but art. And then this kind of landing bench, or I guess you could use it as another luggage rack. There is a luggage rack in the closet that we can stand one of the cases on, but I guess you could use this, or it's kind of low if you wanted to sit on it, to put your shoes on or anything, I'm not sure, but that's there as well. And then we've got another closet, which I can show you in this one because it's empty. More drawers, absolutely tons of storage space. More drawers. Your things for your dry cleaning or your pressing. They did ask us ahead of time what size slippers we wear. So they've left us some slippers, and they have got the kind of cheapy ones, but they're not white. You know, like the normal white ones you get. And they do have the little logo on, the Lux logo on. So that's in there, so tons of storage space. And then coming along into this next area, we've got the tea and coffee making facilities. So we've got I've never heard of this brand, but it's basically a coffee machine. One of these little cute fancy tea kettles. This is just a regular tea kettle that looks fancy. Some bottled water. We've been told that water is free. We can have as much as we want. And then underneath we've got the fridge, the minibar, which is stocked. They do offer an all-inclusive package here, which I think everything apart from the spirits, which are in the drawer over here, if you were here on an all-inclusive, all of this would be included. We sadly are not. But there's a good selection in there. It's not cheap though, as many bars usually are not. And then we've got this little kind of dividing area here, this kind of shelving storage area. In the top we've got some more minibar items, chips, nuts, all that kind of stuff. Good selection of tea and coffee with creamer. There's also milk in the fridge for us Brits that like tea with milk. And then these bottom drawers are stocked with every type of glass I think you could possibly ever need. Little espresso cups, teacups, some glasses, and then we've got like wine glasses, champagne flutes, under here, cocktail shaker even. So really well stocked. And then in the bottom we've got the spirits, which there is, as I'm a gin drinker, this is a half bottle of gin, half bottle of Hendrick's, and it works out to $61 US. So bring your own gin, or whatever your drink is. I wish I had now. So I guess it's going to be a dry few days, because that's quite a lot. And then just behind us this way is like this makeup area. So nice desk, some more storage, and the hairdryer in there. So this is nice when you want to put your makeup on, little light up mirror. I don't know where the switch is, but I can see it does light up. And a little stool. And then we've got this little gadget. So they say to put the towels in the tub if you want fresh ones, and if you want them to change the sheets, you leave this on the bed and they'll change the sheets for you. And then it's other little things like don't leave the door open with the AC on and turn the lights off, that kind of thing. Then we've got the world's biggest full-length mirror, which is huge. There's an outlet down here I can see, regular 3-pin like a UK 220 volt outlets here, if you're interested. And then underneath here I can see another outlet. That looks to be a European, I think. And then there's also a window here into the bathroom, which is where we're going to go next. Let's have a look. It's huge. So we've got these sliding doors that are frosted for privacy into the bathroom. And then we've got one of my favourites, dual sinks, so that you can have a sink each. I know that's a bit of a luxury thing, but I like having a sink each. Now there is some storage. This to me is a little bit form over function. I like to have counter space to put stuff. I appreciate there is like big drawers in here with storage, and a little bit of shelf on the top, but I don't know, it looks pretty, but it's not that functional for me personally. We've got a light up mirror. I don't know where the switch is, but there we go, it does light up. And like I said, there's a decent amount of storage either side. If you are vegan and this matters to you, there's no brand on this, so I'm not sure what brand it is. There is some Chinese writing on the back though. But basically, no nasties, no parabens, no artificial colouring, no animal testing, no deforestation, and it's 100% vegan. And it says that on all the products. So if that matters to you, then they're there. We've got the taps on the wall. Kind of cool. And then over to this side we've got the loo. A Japanese loo. I just spotted the thing on the side. Unfortunately you can't match Sri Lanka. We've been totally loo spoiled after the Hilton in Sri Lanka though, where the lid came up and it lit up as you walked into the room. But we'll take it. We've still got a little fan and a washy for your bum. So that's the loo. Anything else in here? Nice low lighting and some scales. I do like they've got kind of smelly things everywhere too. That's quite nice. And again, there's a door here. If you want to have your loo time to yourself. And then over this way we've got a shower, huge shower. And it looks like a disco rain head which changes colours. If you can see, that's changing colours. There's a handheld and it looks like the overhead. Again, all the same branded amenities in there that are all the vegan free, animal cruelty free. And this is the window we could see out to where we just were, where the makeup desk is. And then we've got a very nice looking bathtub. I love a good bathtub. And a table. You can put your glass of wine on there and your iPad. You're set for a few hours, or I am anyway. So nice bathtub. It's a huge bathroom. We've got some bathrobes. Not my favourite design, but it's a bathrobe nonetheless. that they provided, and there's also a little chair. Let me go this side. There's a little chair in the corner as well. So nice to put your towel on, your bits and pieces on. So yeah, it's a very nice bathroom. There's nice lighting in the whole room. I will say the lighting is really well done. I don't like lots of bright overhead lights, and there's lots of nice kind of, if you can see on the ceiling, this kind of up lighting that gives a really nice effect. In my opinion, if you're a lighting person, I think the whole lighting scheme here is very nice. So let's go back out through the makeup area, mini bar area, and we'll take a look at the bedroom area. Again, look, see all sort of soft lighting, it's up lighting, very nice lighting. So this is the bedroom area, king size bed, very nice linens it feels like. They did give us water bottles, which is also very nice, metal ones, because we're again say no to plastic. And they gave us a nice tote bag as well. So I guess we can use this while we're here. It's very nice actually, it's lined and everything. I don't know if we get to keep it, I think it's free. I don't know, I had to check on that because it's quite a nice bag actually. Maybe it's just to use while you're here, I don't know. So yeah, nice bed, overhead lights, again nice down lighting, so it gives a nice effect. Then you've got a reading light, and then we've got a fan. Now I know that everyone likes fans. Coming from Florida, we like a fan. So we've got the fan setting here, regular 220 volt plug, some USB A and a C, one of each. And that looks like a clock because there's some writing on it. Then we've got a desk on this side and a nice lamp. Now we were just having the discussion about this, that the one thing I really wish this room had is a couch or sofa or something. I don't know why hotels do this. The room is for 2 people and then there's 1 chair in the corner, unless you want to sit at the desk chair. You know, either put, there's tons of space in here, either put 2 chairs in or a sofa, or I don't know, just my thoughts. We've got this bench at the end of the bed. Again, we could put luggage on here as well if you wanted to. The 1 singular chair. And then on this side, we've got more outlets. The phone is plugged into this outlet over here, but a 3-pin outlet. And then I guess this is things for controls for the lights and all of that stuff too. TV, I would hazard it's probably a 55-inch. I'm going to guess that it comes out from the wall. There we go. Oh, it swings, there's a whole thing. But that's not so good for the fire stick. Unless there's a port. Oh no, hold on. Look, da da da. If this is important to you, and it's important to us, we can put the fire stick in and I can watch EastEnders. If you know, you know. So yeah, that's pretty nice. So you can see the TV from the bed or have it next to the wall. So, all in all, very nice. So the last thing to show you is going to be the balcony. It's probably going to get a little bit noisy out here. We do have a nice view of the ocean. We are on the 2nd floor, so the only thing above us, I believe, is a pool, which sounds weird, but that is where the pool is. And I think there's a restaurant up there too, so we only let the 2nd room in from reception, so you can see sort of the building here for reception too. But there's 2 nice chairs out here. We'll go out there and I'll show you, but there's 2 nice chairs out here with footrests. We've tried them already. And this I particularly like, there's little stands with lights on. So if you want to sit out here and it's dark, you don't have to have a big glaring overhead light. You can have these little lights on, which I think is really nice. Nice sized table. You could probably even sit here and have a little meal too. And then a couple of mother-in-law's tongue plants on the end. So let's take a look. Oh, I thought the ocean might drown us out, but maybe not. You can probably still hear me. So yeah, these are pretty nice. It's a really nice sized balcony too. Yeah, nice view of the ocean. Like I said, a little bit overcast today because of the storm yesterday. You can see we're almost in the middle of the building, and you can see this kind of semicircle. And these rooms are all junior suites. There's a pool down here too, obviously beach, and a lot of sunbed areas. So all in all, it's very nice indeed. We're here on a point stay with Hyatt, so this has not actually cost us anything, which is also very nice. So we're going to enjoy this for our week stay here at the Lux Grand Baie in Mauritius. Hi and good evening from Bijou. This is going to be the rooftop bar at the hotel. I am enjoying my Monkey 47 gin here, and we're going to enjoy the sunset. As well as the bar up here, there's going to be a pool. We are going to have nibbles here again tonight, some appetizers here tonight. We had some the other night, and there's kind of, it's like a tapas style, so there's just kind of smaller plates, but it's very nice. So good morning from Beach Rouge, and this is going to be like the main restaurant in the hotel. So we have breakfast here. They have an a la carte menu, which we'll show you, that you can order from for hot items, and then they have what they call the deli, which is kind of all the cold items. It's in an enclosed area, so there's cheeses, pastries, fruit, everything, the usual kind of breakfast stuff. We'll show you around. I just got some fruit and yogurt this morning. There's also an area in there you can have fresh juices. I got some green juice, and there's also like the regular orange and pineapple and that kind of stuff too. So they have lunch in here as well, and then in the evening, as I understand it, they have a different themed buffet every day. So the other night when we asked, it was Lebanese. I haven't seen what the other varieties can be, the other themes can be, but they have a different theme every night, and then it's a buffet. So that's Beach Rouge. So we were in Mauritius for a week, and in that time we did 2 tours. The first was a North Island tour, and the second was a South Island tour. Now it is possible to do both of these in one day, but we figured it would be a bit too rushed and we had the time. So we booked 2 different drivers, both of which were through Get Your Guide and came highly recommended. And we got to see both sides of the island really at a slower pace. Good morning from Mauritius, and today we are doing a tour of the north of the island, and our first stop here is going to be at the Citadel, where we've got this amazing view of the city behind us. The views from here were stunning. I would add, if you do have mobility issues though, because obviously it's a fort that was built many years ago, that you do have to climb stairs, quite a number of stairs, to be able to reach the viewing area. But once you're up there, well worth it. We have views of the racecourse and the city below us. Welcome to Port Louis. We're here at Caudan Waterfront. This is like the portside shopping area. If you were near the cruise ships are going to dock just over there. And this is a whole shopping area. There's shops, regular run-of-the-mill shops, as well as like craft stores and a ton of eating places. And the famous or infamous Umbrella Street. It's actually really a nice place to come sit down, take a stroll around as well. And there's a food court here where you can get Haagen-Dazs if you so want, or just some water. There's also a Pizza Hut and all kinds of things, fruit places, all kinds of things here too. This shopping area is really aimed at people on the cruise ships, and as such there's lots of souvenir shops, handicraft shops, restaurants. It's nice to walk around, and there's a particularly nice spot for a selfie with the street full of the umbrellas that hang from the ceiling.
They also sell elephants.
They do sell elephants, and I might have bought one.
The benefit of having a private driver is when you see something, you can just ask them to pull over. This was a Hindu temple which was located just outside the port, so we managed to stop here for a few minutes and take some photos.
It was also right next to what was the train station. So, welcome to the Central Market. On the right hand side we've got souvenirs, all kinds of handicrafts, and on the left hand side it's a regular market. We just had a quick walk through there, lots of fruit and veg, lots of chilies. It's kind of chaotic in there, as you would expect. But yeah, we're just going to have a little wander around here. We did have a brief walk around this market, mainly based around, on one side was day-to-day kind of produce, fruits and vegetables, and on the other side was all kind of handicrafts and souvenirs. In the street just outside of the market, there was also lots of traders selling their genuine, authentic goods, if you know what I mean. The area was pretty crazy and it was hot, so we didn't stay here too long, but we did have a little bit of a walk around. So here we are at our next stop, which is the Botanical Gardens, and we're going to take a look around here and see what we can see. Our next stop was at the Cerf, Seewoosagur, Ramgoolam, try saying that 3 times, Botanical Gardens. We did have to pay for an entrance fee here, which for both of us was just $12 US, and the site boasts over 500 different species of plants. The park covers about 37.5 hectares, so it's pretty large, and you can enjoy a stroll around here. There's various things to see. There's a couple of monuments on site, buildings that you can go and take a look around. There's various animal areas that you can look at. We saw some deer, some more giant tortoise. There was plenty of fish in the ponds too. It was nice just to take a stroll around. But the real highlight for us was to see the giant water lily pond. For those of you with mobility difficulties, bear in mind I'm still wearing a boot at this point and trying to hobble around. There is a golf cart that runs, and we'll do a golf cart tour. However, although it was supposed to be, it wasn't running the day that we were there. So it's either walking, most of it's fairly flat, there's just some small inclines, or you could rent a wheelchair, which we did end up doing because I was kind of having a hard time walking by this point. And unfortunately we didn't get it on video, but James pretty much threw me out of the thing within about 5 minutes. But after that...
Didn't pass a driving test for wheelchairs.
After that initial little joyride, we did get things back on track, and it was, like I said, most of it was flat, so we were able to walk around.
Our last stop of the day was the Red Roof Church at Cap Malheureux. It's a very pretty church. It's a Roman Catholic church, and it's famous because it's been in so many photos.
It's located right on the beach. It's in a stunning location. And as you said, it's red roof against the stunning blue sky. We did make one last stop at the grocery store just before we headed back to the hotel, and in here we were able to buy pretty much anything you would need, regular groceries, and there was a good selection of local goods, even some American and British goods as well.
The next day we took a tour in the south of the island with a different guide. So the south of the island's a lot further because we were located in the north, so it's definitely going to be the longer day of the two. Traffic on the way to the south of the island was crazy. Traffic on the way back was really crazy, and it was a very late day for us.
I think he picked us up at 9 a.m. and I think we got back about 7:30 in the evening.
And the tour should have finished about...
We should have finished at 6, I believe.
Our first stop of the day was a dormant volcano. Its name, I'm sure I'm going to butcher this, is Trou. And we were able to walk around the edge of it. You can actually walk down into the centre of it. With our mobility issues and boots, that was not something we were going to do. So we took some photos from around the edge.
On video it probably doesn't look that impressive, but in real life it actually was, because you could see to the base, couldn't you? It was much more impressive in real life.
But it was difficult to see over the edge.
Our second stop of the day was at Grand Bassin, the location of a temple and also known as Ganga Talo. It's a sacred crater lake in Mauritius and is considered one of the most important Hindu pilgrimage sites outside of India. The lake is connected to the sacred Ganges River in India through the Hindu faith and is believed to have healing powers. We were actually visiting a couple of days after the end of a festival, and so much of the scaffolding was still up and places for temporary parking and temporary praying areas. This is a very significant location to people of the Hindu religion, and many Hindus make a pilgrimage to Grand Bassin, often walking barefoot from their homes. The shoreline of the lake is lined with temples and dedicated to the various Hindu deities. These include Lord Shiva, Goddess Ganga and Lord Ganesh. As an aside, when visiting, you may want to hang on to your bags as well, because it was also the location of quite a lot of wild monkeys. We really enjoyed our visit here and took time to enter the temple and enjoy looking at the many colourful shrines around the lake.
Hi, so welcome to stop 3 on our tour of the south. Behind us is the west coast, and then behind Helen is the Alexandra waterfall, and we're at the Black River Gorges Park, and it's an absolutely gorgeous day.
Hi and welcome to, here's my new friend. I don't know if you can see, I've got a new friend down here. This is Ricky the rooster. I'm not sure. Richard. What's French for Ricky? I don't know. Anyway, here's my new friend. We're at the Valley of Colours Nature Park, and we are waiting to do a jeep tour. Because I am old and decrepit, that's all we're doing. There are other things to do if you are younger and more inclined. You can come here and rent a quad bike or a buggy and drive around the park. You can also zip line, and there's a luge kind of trail as well. There's all kinds of things to do. The primary attraction here is going to be the waterfalls, and they call it 23 colours. It's formed from the volcanic rock from the eruption that happened a long time ago. There's also some animals. There's some deer and some tortoise. So we're just waiting for our jeep tour in this area. You can also rent equipment like your helmet and all of that stuff, and there's a GoPro counter as well. I'm sure they're going to sell us like a green screen picture as well at some point. There's a little souvenir shop and a cafeteria, so there's a lot going on here. We'll see what it's like. We'll give you a little bit of an update afterwards as to how we enjoyed our jeep tour and what we see. But yeah, we're just hanging with our little rooster friends for now. So on the jeep tour we made several stops. The first one was at this absolutely stunning waterfall that was in like a cave. It was really, really beautiful.
The next stop was at 23 colours. This looks like rock, but it's actually soil, and it's very fertile soil, and it was used for farming. But then about 40 odd years ago it was discovered that this was the remnants of an old volcano, and instead of continuing to farm on the land, they decided to turn it into what is known today as 23 colours.
After a further drive up to the top of the volcano, we reached a lookout point where we were able to enjoy the view, and also we saw some deer on the way, lots of deer in that area. And James was able to walk out onto one of the other attractions that you can do there, which is a suspension bridge over the gorge. Now, because he didn't have all the gear on, he could only just take a few steps out, and of course you have to pay for this as a separate thing. But it was nice to go and see, and there's also a cafeteria at the top of there as well. The end of the tour dropped us off back at the reception area, where there was like a small petting zoo, some tortoise, and like a kids play area.
The Jeep tour consisted of a drive around the whole of the park. It lasted for just over an hour, and the total cost was just under $85.
If you wanted to rent the buggies and the little 4x4 quad bikes and stuff, most of that was at least double that price. This was quite an expensive area to go to, but I will say it looked exceptionally well run, and there was a lot of safety equipment available, and it was a nice facility.
It was well organised.
It was definitely well organised.
Our driver, who was a really nice guy, decided to give us a bit of a bonus and took us to 7 colours, which is a similar concept to 23 colours, and it has this another stunning waterfall. We managed to get to here quite late, just before they closed at about 4 o'clock, but this put us in completely the wrong side of the island for our trip back. Again, you can see the soil formations and the difference in the colours, and then there was these spectacular waterfalls that you could see from here. Entrance fee to here was about $26, and after this we had a very long drive back to the hotel.
I think it took us about 2 hours to get back to the hotel from here.
So at the start of the video we did explain that, believe it or not, this was another James and Helen Point stay. We booked it on Hyatt, a Mr. and Mrs. Smith property, and it came to 376,000 points for the 8 nights that we spent there. The equivalent cost, if we'd have paid in cash, was just over $5,301, so not a bad redemption, but you don't get any of the normal Hyatt benefits. So I'm not sure that we would choose to stay at a Mr. and Mrs. Smith resort in the future, because you'd probably get a better benefit of staying in a straight Hyatt.
For example, normally with our Hyatt status we would get breakfast included. In this property we didn't, and breakfast was €25 a day per person. So €50 a day just for breakfast. For US that's about 60 US, I think.
Yeah,
something like that, pretty close to. Now typically for breakfast we only have like yogurt and fruit and a cup of tea. So $50 a day for that seemed, €50 a day for that seemed a little bit steep.
And we always try and stay in hotels where you don't have to do that, because you do that 365 days a year. That really does mount up. There was no snacks, no drinks benefits. There was a room upgrade, but we had to fight to get it. It just didn't. When you normally go to a Hyatt, they say thank you for being a globalist, and you get treated as though you are sort of quite valued within the community.
And there's usually a welcome amenity, all that kind of stuff. There was none of that basically.
We had to fight to even get in the room. So wouldn't choose to stay at a Mr. and Mrs. Smith hotel if I was using Hyatt Redemption. I would probably choose to go to a different property.
But that said, you can't knock it. It was 7 nights for free, so we're not complaining. 8 nights, sorry. 8 nights for free, so we're not complaining by any stretch of the imagination. Nice property, but a few little niggles I wasn't overly impressed with.
They do say that they're a 5-star resort. I don't think they are a 5-star resort, but they believe they are a 5-star resort.
We had a couple of little issues with service and cleanliness of the room, but again, not complaining. It was a free stay, but if I was paying, I probably would have been complaining because cleanliness was a little bit of an issue. And we had room service for dinner a couple nights, and both times the food arrived cold. We had to, the first night we just didn't say anything, but the second time we did, and they re-brought it again and it was cold again. But we had a tapas at the rooftop bar at Bijou. That was very nice. There was a bit of an ant problem up there though. We had ants on the table there, but there's lots of greenery around, so maybe to be expected. But that was a nice place to sit and have drinks. I guess by Mauritian standards, quite expensive.
A beautiful hotel.
Yeah, very
The
very
property
nice.
is amazing. I don't think the service quite matches up to the standards of the property.
It was a bit hit and miss. Some people were really good and others didn't seem like they cared. It seemed a little bit inconsistent. But otherwise, a nice day. You know, you're on the beach in Mauritius. It can't be bad.
So this concludes our stay of 8 nights in Mauritius, and the next place that we're going to is Dubai, and then on to Kuala Lumpur, which is where we are right now. So thank you for joining us to the end of this video. Please like and subscribe, and watch out for the next video where we fly Emirates first class on an A380 and have a shower in the sky, and on our way to Dubai.